afternoon, everyone. Curry College Chief for the Forecaster Joe Shockhead. Taking a look here at the 12Z NAM, a little bit of a sideshow, if you will, a little bit of a distraction here. What may be going on later on this week as we're going to see some energy come out of the Gulf and come together, if you will, here off the mid-Atlantic coast and maybe develop a storm of some tropical characteristics. Taking a sideswipe here at southern New England on Friday morning. So you can see here the NAM has a 987 millibar low just over the Cape here. And as we advance our way into Friday mid-morning, you can see 985, again bringing, if you will, some big rainfall. These are 3 hourly rainfalls in inches, and you can see here maybe potentially over an inch, if not an inch and a half, if you will, of rainfall during Friday morning. So again, heavy rain seems to be a threat with this potentially Friday. Now, there are some possibilities. I just saw the newest European, the GFS and Canadian, and the European ensembles. They do bring this much farther out to sea with essentially very little, if no impact from this situation on Friday. And then you can see Friday afternoon and Friday evening as this continues to pull away. Here's the 850 temperatures. You can see here how this could become somewhat warm core in here early Friday morning as this continues to move up to the northeast here. And you can see here, let me try to find a color here that would work. See here the 850 temperatures in around here are upwards of about 16 to 18 C. So this could potentially try to become somewhat warm core and maybe somewhat extratropical, subtropical feature if the solution does play out. And here is part of the reason why I think that this has a shot at becoming what the NAM has, extratropical, subtropical, is because you got all this warm water here to the south of New England. Here are the current SSTs, and you can see where the red is here. You can see all this warm water upwards of 4C above normal, and this blue line up here is the 80-degree line. You can see that is much farther north than the climatological 80-degree line, which is this black line right in here. So you can see there is plenty of warm water and fuel for something like that to certainly happen, but there's some cooler waters up here. But overall, certainly going to be a very, very interesting feature to watch going into later on this week. There's again the 12Z GFS further out to sea, the European also out to sea, but this morning's European model run was a little bit close here, bringing some heavy rain and some wind to coastal southern New England. So a little bit of a sideshow there. And now let's take a look here at the updated, if you will, summer version. Here again is the Canadian SIPS temperature forecast for the month of June. You can see here what we've seen a trend in is we've seen a trend in below normal temperatures now. It looks like for the majority of the month here in the northeast and eastern part of the United States, where there's been a lot of water over the past couple weeks, and there continues to be a lot of water forecasted over the next few weeks, which will cut down any heat. And even here in the plains, this may be a little bit cooler in through here. But overall, it's not as warm as last June, to say the least. Again, with all that water coming in to the ground. And again, here's the 500 millibar pattern. You can see the idea of a mean trough being here and a mean ridge being out here in the west. So again, this looks like the month of June will be cooler than normal. Not to say, though, there is going to be some heat. Next week we're going to see a couple days in the 90s here in the northeast. So overall, it's a cool pattern, but there will be these periods where it will get warm, if not hot. So we will have those splashes of heat, and what I like to call is a island of heat and a sea of cold. So again, the majority of the month is cool with these little islands of heat that we will see most likely again next week, a couple days in the 90s here in southern New England. Here's the month of July. Again, looks relatively cool across much of the eastern part of the United States. Here's the height field. You can see the idea of a trough there. Here's the month of August. You can see maybe a little bit warmer and some more ridging coming back into the east in the month of August. This is also going to be a very, very interesting thing looking into the tropics as well, which we will talk about right here. Here is the Canadian SIPS height field for the month of September. And you can see here, let's point out here really, really importantly, that in the main development region, we have at or below normal heights in through here in parts of the Atlantic. So this is going to play, I think, a big role in potentially substantial tropical storm and tropical cyclone development here as we work our way into the peak of the hurricane season. You can see here in the Pacific, higher than normal pressures here. lower than normal pressures here, higher than normal pressures over North America. So again, a very, very interesting peak of the hurricane season to come, to say the least. And again, month of October, higher over North America, high here, low here, continues to indicate the threat of the tropics being active, especially again later in the season as we get into the peak of the season, which is really mid-August through early October. So again, always to keep an eye on this part of the world, because we haven't really seen a very active Atlantic hurricane season in quite some time. It's been at least, several years since 2011, 2012, where we've seen, tropical cyclones, several of them, impact the United States. So certainly a wild period, to say the least, ahead. That's it for now, and thank you for watching.